Justin Herbert's got a new coordinator. Jared Goff's got a new coordinator. And I said, there's two quarterbacks in the league that, and I want to start with Caleb Williams. I said, I saw two things last year in the playoffs, one against Green Bay, one against the Rams, that changed football physics. This is what Mahomes did in year 2, his first year of starting. He did things, and I thought, well, Elway couldn't do that. Marino didn't do that. Manning didn't do that. So I look at Caleb, and I said, and my take is, okay, he's not Josh, and he's not Mahomes. But Stafford's old and gives you nothing out of the pocket. And I said, horsepower, no picks, never hurt, great late, obviously smart, cleaned up his sack issue literally by October. Yeah. And I'm like, I think he's the third best quarterback going into the season. And that seems outrageous. It doesn't to me. Does it to you?
If you're projecting that he will be the third best quarterback this year.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think that's outrageous, Colin. I think when you look at Caleb Williams, because of the consistency on the offensive side of the ball, and I think he went through a year, his rookie year, where maybe he started to have a little bit of self-doubt. You talk about DJ Moore and like that relationship with him kind of showing him up on the field when he didn't hit him a few times, right? You got him out of Chicago. You talk about the coaching situation, which I was very vocal about. I thought they should have either committed to the coach or got rid of him before Caleb came in. And they didn't listen, and eventually it turned out the way exactly like I said it would, but don't tell Chicago fans that. And I look at Caleb and I say to myself, you have to take the good with the bad. We've had many conversations on this show about Caleb Williams, and I think his trajectory is kind of that of like a Brett Favre.
Yeah.
You have to take the good with the bad.
Yep.
And the good is so good and dynamic. And like the throws you see him making on the screen right now, he can throw the deep ball. He can throw it on the run. He can be running to his left off his back foot and drop it between 5 defenders. Like those are plays that not every quarterback can make. And because he cleaned up his sack issues, I think him and Ben Johnson are like the perfect yin and yang, the perfect right amount of craziness. And I don't think it's outrageous to say that he'll be the third best quarterback in the league this year. He's on the cover of the Madden video game. And I think his confidence is at an all-time high. He's comfortable in his shoes. He's comfortable in that locker room, and they love him. So I think he's in a very great mental space right now to where he can go out and, he could very easily become the greatest quarterback in Chicago Bears history. All he has to do is get him to a Super Bowl and win that bad boy, and I think he'll be immortalized in Chicago forever.
Well, so much is infrastructure and where you land. Mahomes, if nothing against the owner for the Bills or Sean McDermott or Brandon Beane, they're above average. But getting Hunt family, Brett Veach, Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, Spags. That's a different ball game. Like that's just, here's the keys to the Mercedes. Don't hit the tree in the driveway. Like just don't screw it up. And I think Mahomes would still be great. But Sam Darnold's had a completely different route.
Oh, yeah.
His route is, God, can I finally just find somebody who gets me? And his last 2 stops have been pretty special. And I said this. I put him about 7th, 8th best quarterback in the league in that space. And I don't think the league quite knows what to do with Sam because those initial images are really, really strong, and they were several years. Where are you on Sam projecting going forward?
Yeah, I'm really high on Sam Darnold. And, I think all of us were at that point early on in his career. If we weren't sure if he was going to be able to stop seeing ghosts. Right. I had a coach tell me one time that with quarterbacks in particular, a lot of times as they age, whether it's through college or through the NFL, their memories can start to hamper them. Like if they have a lot of bad experiences, you talk about quarterbacks when they're young getting sacked a lot, and now maybe they're a little jittery in the pocket. You talk about QBs who don't have a great supporting cast, and they feel like they got to make every single throw and live and die by that, and it hurts them because they get given up on too early. I think Sam Darnold was one of those guys that the league gave up on. And coaches saw his ability to make every throw, the fact that he was tough and had been in some tough situations and felt like, you know what, we can work with this guy as our backup. That's what I honest to God believe happened when he went to San Francisco, when he went to Minnesota, and they gave him those opportunities. I don't think they looked at him as a starter. They'll lie to you now and tell you that they always believe it, right? Trust me, you've met some coaches. They'll lie to you and be like, yeah, I always believe. No, they're like, hey, this guy could be a solid backup for us. And then when they got him in the building, they saw him throw that glance route. They saw him throw that deep post. They saw him make those throws on the run. They're like, holy smokes. If we can just fix this guy's mental, we got something. Yeah. So when he gets to Minnesota, he's got a great supporting cast, an incredible play caller in KOC. He gets to Seattle, has an amazing supporting cast, and you see the results. He didn't even play great in the Super Bowl, and they still were able to win that game. Yeah. So I think he admitted that himself. That's not just, projecting on him. I think he plays even better now because he has that Super Bowl. Yeah. Because I never won a Super Bowl in my career. But every quarterback that I ever talked to from the Bradys to the John Elways, they always said once they got that first one, it was like their confidence was like an all-time high, Colin. And I think for Sam Darnold, he's only going to continue to grow in that. And it helps when you have Jackson Smith and Jigba to throw to.
Hey, you do a lot of college football at an incredibly high level. And you're one of the few guests that does both well. And I got into this discussion, and John Middlecoff today, we both love college football and pro. And we got into the draft class next year. And when I looked at Mendoza, I was like, oh, yeah, that works in the NFL. Or Caleb Williams, Drake May, that works in the NFL. Now, I thought Penix would work. We'll wait and see. But I look at this draft class, and again, you watch a ton of college football. I look at Julian Sand. I'm not sure he's big enough. I look at Lenoris Sellers. He's not there yet. Dante Moore, I've got some reservations. Arch, which one do I get? I think CJ Carr today may be my favorite. But is it possible that we're going to have a draft class where we're waiting for our Elway and our Joe Burrow and our Herbert and our Caleb, and it's a bunch of second-round guys? Is there one to you would bet your 401k and go, that is a 15-year franchise guy?
Yeah, Colin, I'm not betting my 401k on any of these guys, but what I would say is that your wait and see approach is kind of what I'm picking up from what you're saying. Yeah, is legit. It's legit. And I called multiple games for Dante Moore last year. Like Dante,
what do you make of him?
I think Dante is a very dynamic playmaker that doesn't always show how dynamic of a playmaker he is. We were calling a game against them for Minnesota, and Dante Moore had run faster that year. He ran 21 miles per hour. He had ran faster than every single player on the Minnesota team except for one, and it was their fastest receiver. So I look at Dante and I say to myself, a lot of times with Oregon, they're so dominant. He can hand the ball off to all of his great running backs, and he can make all the throws, but he doesn't always have to show it like Lamar Jackson did when he was at Louisville, like Cam Newton did when he was at Auburn, like I did when I was at Baylor, because of the supporting cast. And they don't have to outscore everyone 56-50, right? So I think he kind of gets a little bit of a bad rap on that side. I think he's much more dynamic. I think what he has to show this year is that when he gets into those tough matchups, that he has the clutch gene and he has the mental fortitude to come out on top and say, it's on me and I'm going to get it done. Last year, I don't think he did that. When you look at Arch, I think the advantage that Arch has, and I think this is well documented, it's on in his nameplate, he's a Manning. But he's a different kind of Manning than Peyton and Eli were, right?
He's like Archie.
So he's like Archie, which is, his namesake. He can run. Like, the guy can flat out run. And I think that saves him in a lot of situations. I think he showed that he can be tough, because the beginning of the year would have crushed a lot of young quarterbacks. It didn't crush him. Yeah. So when I look at this class, I say we're not going to know about this class until about 8 weeks into the season.
Yeah, no, I totally like Mendoza. I mean, after I watched the game at Penn State with Mendoza when he went on the road and Indiana's defense was getting gashed by a backup Penn State quarterback, I